Hey guys. A few of you have asked me quite a lot of questions. And also like recently I was scrolling through X and saw this comment, which said market makers are just legal manipulators pumping and dumping our bags. And I literally spit out my coffee because I used to be one of those behind the scenes, right? And let me tell you, the reality is way different than you might think, right? So, look, I get the suspicion part. These mysterious firms with billions moving markets while you're trying to figure out why your $50 trade got slippage. But after actually working inside one of these places and dealing with 6 a.m. calls, the constant risk monitoring, the literal seconds that make or break millions, and he just set the record straight, right? So, what really happens inside? Picture this, right? Like, there are like 20 monitors, traders with 3 cups of coffee, an algorithm firing thousands of orders per second. Our job used to be to keep the markets breathing, right? So every time you see a buy and sell price on the exchange, that's market makers posting both sides, taking the risk that we might get stuck holding back we don't want. So here the kicker. We or market makers make money on the tiny spread between those prices, not by pumping and dumping, and by being the middleman thousands of times a day. So yeah, it's boring. Actually, if I think about it now that I'm speaking out loud, it is boring, but profitable when done right. So, can we actually move markets? Here, I mean, we means market makers, and I'm not a market maker anymore. Maybe I am right now with Fliq. So we'll tell you. All right. So here's what nobody talks about. Can a market maker move $100 million meme coin? Absolutely. I've seen it happen. And I've also heard stories when someone accidentally fat fingered a trade size. But Bitcoin, Ethereum, the big boys, here's some insider math for you. Bitcoin trades about maybe 15, 30 billion daily across all exchanges, right? Including the Binances, Bybits, everything, whatever on the planet, Coinbases of the world. Even the biggest market maker firms may have maybe, right? $1 or $2 billion in their crypto inventory. So you do the math. The truth is, most market makers are risk averse to a fault. And I do remember stories being told that, one of the systems at a firm bought too much of an altcoin by mistake, just $2 million worth. And the entire floor was panicking about how to unload it without losing money. So these aren't the evil masterminds, like at least how X or Reddit thinks they are. So what happens without market makers? It's pure chaos, right? Want to know what a market looks like without a market maker? I'll paint you a picture. So you want to buy $1,000 of a token. The best offer is $1.05. The next best is $1.20. The one after that, 1.45, right? Now your $1,000 buy just moved the price by 40%. Okay? That's not a market. That's a casino with worse odds. Market makers smooth that out. So market makers, basically the difference between trading on Coinbase and trading on some sketchy techs with $50 liquidity. So why does it matter in general to know about it, and why does it matter on prediction markets? So now here's why I'm telling you all this. One is that I have a lot of my friends who've asked me this question, and understanding like what market makers are, do they really manipulate markets? But on the other hand, like on Fliq, we have built our own market making system. So we use market makers too, right? And in fact, like a lot of our traders are also market makers, and you can become a market maker simply by putting limit orders as well. So, just over here, one point, market makers, anyone, just to reiterate, like You are a buyer to every seller and seller to every buyer, right? Which happens across the globe, not just on trading markets, but otherwise too. But, okay, let me talk about like on Fliq. What's the difference? In prediction markets, they can't manipulate outcomes. Or we can't. You can't make Trump win an election or change a sports score, right? Market makers just make sure when you want to bet yes on something, there's actually someone willing to take the other side at a fair price. Same principle I used to live by. So we are the grease that keeps the machine running, not the engine driving it, right? So next time someone tells you market maker are evil, just remember, I've also sat in those chairs, watched those screens, felt that stress. Most of the time, market makers are just trying not to lose money while making sure you can actually trade when you want to. So are there bad actors? Sure. That's why you have to be careful about who is your market maker. But most of us, we're just caffeinated math nerds, I think, if that's a word I can use, making markets less terrible than they'd be without us. And honestly, that's a pretty important job. So, yeah. And another thing to remember, no matter who the market maker is, it's very difficult for them to manipulate any outcome on prediction markets, right? So here you go. I hope this is useful and helpful for you guys. I was not planning to do this video, but then I had so many questions on this in the past couple of weeks and also saw so much on X and Reddit. So I thought maybe I should answer. Thank you.